Hello, I am Shannon Mann at Central Virginia Prep, and I want to show you our new inventory management system so that you guys can have direct transparency into what you have at our location. So this is the customer portal as stated here. Don't worry about having to bookmark this terrible URL. We actually made a redirect, so you can just go centralvirginiaprep.com/customer portal. And additionally, there should be a button in the coming days on the website. So you could go directly to our website, centralvirginiaprep.com, and click on the button that will eventually be on the sidebar. This is Galahad here. He is my video editor. Okay, so you will each receive a company code that is your login. Basically, gives the instructions about which records are yours. So this is our dummy setup for example purposes. CVAP 48, Lonely Mountain, and what we've done is we've made it so that each person in your organization can potentially have a login. We're going to change our sign-up details to reflect this, but since you're already in our system, we've mostly managed it. The reason for this is because we've had people sign up, the company founder sign up, and then we never dealt with that person again. We also have people who say, can you send invoices to this particular address, because that's the person who handles the billing. So currently we have 3 categories: decision maker, logistics, and billing, but we would be able to probably change that up if necessary. So for this one, we've got our decision maker. And the other thing you want to do here, this is so that when let's see, there are no levels to access within your organization. So like you can't make it so that the decision maker can only see this and the billing person can only see this. What this does is make it so that people don't have to remember which email address they need to log in with. You'll be able to log in with your own personal email address. So the other thing you'll want to do is click remember this search, which won't be a problem for nearly anybody except for the few people who have a third-party service who services their account. We do have 1 or 2 people who have hired like a single account manager, and so that manager has at our establishment 3 or 4 clients, and that person would probably have to do an autofill or something, because this will get really annoying. But if you click remember search, then hit submit, the biggest problem with this is that when you hit one of these other tabs here, you have to log in again. It's just a limitation of the platform. But once you have logged into each of these tabs, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 logins, and hit remember search for each of them, then you should be able to access them with one login at a later date. All right, so we're gonna do this one. I'm just gonna go along and hit all of these so that I can click back and forth with more ease. So just hang tight while I log everything in. And part of the reason that I wanted to do this sort of live on camera is so that you could see how quickly you could set things up, because I know that it's a big pain to learn a new software or to learn a new system, especially somebody else's system, in order to actually access your business. Trust me, Seller Central is the bane of all of us. So having to add more systems on top of that is obviously challenging, but we think that this should be pretty much basic. All right, so let's go back here. Now I'm logged into all 4 of these. I'm just going to give you a quick overview, and then I'll probably set up new videos for specific actions that you're going to want to take. All right, so helpful resources. This opens here. This is more of a reference page. So this is the company name, the Lonely Mountain. This is the shipping address. We get a lot of queries about this. And people might ask, well, why don't you just put this on your website? Well, this is because we have had in the past people ship us things trying to basically force us to accept them as customers since, you know, their stuff is already here, and we don't want to encourage that kind of shenanigans. So you have to be someone who's actually signed a contract with us before you get the address. Company contacts: Smog the Terrible, billing; Gandalf the Grey, logistics; Thorn Oakenshield, decision maker. You can see that we're nerds around here. So if you want to update this, just email the office, and they'll update our database. So if say Gandalf decided to go on vacation, and you had to put someone else in that slot, even as a secondary logistics contact, you would want to email us that information. Alternatively, you could just have someone log in under Gandalf's email address. Not a big deal. Policies and procedures. This is the link to currently the old manual, but now we've made it so that whenever we update the procedures, everybody will get a brand new copy at the same time, which is handy. On pallet is a great one for people who do LTL shipping. I just want to show you real quick. This is how you can create a really good understanding of how many cartons you want to ship at one time. Oops. So it's a little bit funny in that, I mean, it's funny to Americans in that it defaults to millimeters. So you kind of have to override that. 12, 15, 10. This is my standard box size in the warehouse, so that's why I have it memorized. We're going to call it 48 pounds. So the most common pallet in the States is this 40 by 48 pallet. And then max loading height would be 72 inches plus 3 inches for the pallet, which is Amazon's requirements. So assuming that you had a box that was 12 by 15 by 10, make sure that you make the height the correct one, because otherwise it will try to stack things on their sides and they don't stack as well. So then you calculate, and it says basically 10 to a pallet, or 10 to a layer on the pallet, and then you select that and it shows you how many layers you can do. So you'd be able to tell me, oh, I need you to ship 70 cartons of this inventory for me, and be able to see how many that would be. This would be a double height pallet. Amazon's got a different set of rules for the under height pallets. What actually happens is that if you have heavier stuff, in that your half height pallet is more than 700 pounds, I want to say, maybe 9, but I think 700 pounds, then you don't get stackable pallets. Amazon gives you a price break if you can do stackable pallets. But if you can't do stackable pallets, you might as well go all the way to their limit, which is 75 inches, including the pallet. So anyways, and then I would recommend that you take like a quick screenshot of something like this and just label it with which of your cartons this is. And that way you'll be able to keep a record of it. So, and you can also, like, obviously we wouldn't recommend stacking them just like that. We would want to flip them back and forth. Anyways, so I will just last thing down here is the contract, just so you can keep a record of it. Not a big deal. So that is the customer portal. I will quickly show you afterwards the forms. This is how you create a product, add an inbound shipment. Oops, let's go back the other way. For understanding the portal, the tabs are not quite in the right order, but for your day-to-day use, I think they're in a lot better order. So this is the inventory list that you'll be able to see all of your products in one place. Um, he, the ones that are in use, like if you no longer stock that product, or if you're out of stock of that product, it'll be inactive. But then you'll have items in the warehouse, scheduled to arrive, scheduled to ship, um, and a few other things that are kind of useful, but not necessarily. So this is where you would put your on-pallet notes. So for instance, I have a client who has 6 or 7 different SKUs in 3 different carton sizes, and he's actually really great at packing a pallet. So he has it down to a science of how many cartons per layer and how high he can stack them, and he does a really great job at it. But he's one of the few who've been able to do that, especially with mixed SKU cartons. So we wanted to make that as simple as possible. And here you can add your carton weight if necessary. It's not completely required, because if you've got shipping, what are they called? Shipping plans, shipping templates in Seller Central, that's already been entered. But it's a little bit helpful. Okay. So then inbound shipments, outbound shipments are pretty self-explanatory on the tab. So I will just close out of this video and switch to a new one.